Hey everyone, so today I'm going to be unboxing the Montblanc baby in coral. So, I wanted a baby for a long time. I really wanted the black one. I almost bought this whole set in black last summer. And I did not go through with it for one reason or another. I also got really into roller balls for a while, where I had a lot of different roller balls, and I still do. But this, I was between this and a 149, and the price of all of this is basically the price I would have paid for a 149. And what happened was I said to myself, do I want to carry this 149 to work with me? Is it something that I ever would carry with me to work? And this baby was the choice instead. Wow. I had handled one of these before. Um, but wow. This is oh, it when you open it, it gives like a vibration. Let's see if we can see that nib. I don't think I've ever reviewed a fountain pen before. So you're going to get kind of my first impressions, but before I do anything else, I would like to ink this just so while we're handling it, it can get some of its, it can get itself like kind of primed and ready. I gotta be honest, I've used cartridge fountain pens for a little while, but I've mostly used piston. Okay, cool. So this is the Montblanc. What's it, 80 Days Around the World. I actually did read 80 Days Around the World last year, and then I watched the movie. Believe it or not, the movie's actually far more dated than the book is. At least the book, you feel like you're in a different time. And in the movie, it is just it's pretty bizarre by today's standards. I got to be honest with you. It's a weird film, but I did read the book. So let's ink this up, and then I will go through. I'll do a writing sample, and I'll do some of the kind of how I feel about it. So that is in. There is a spring that pushes it in more. Wow. So right away, the first thing that took me was how incredibly small this thing is. It's also very, very orange. And this is more of a vintage coloring. This is a cream color. I wouldn't call it white. This whole setup, like this desk is white. I'm going to try to correct the image so this is as white as possible. I would say that I don't know. To me, this looks very like a cream kind of like a vintage look. It's amazing how small this is. I have large hands, but here's a Kaweco Sport Piston, All Sport Piston, and look at it dwarf the like it dwarfs the All Sport. It's incredibly small. Let's post it. That's how it's meant to be. Um, I don't like how when you post it, it has like because there's only like one thread there, so it's very. It kind of has like a little bit of a grime to it when you post it, but wow, in the hand, it is very. It's incredibly solid. I can't get over the solid and that nib is high polish. Saying the nib is high polish is a bit of an understatement. It is um, almost a mirror polish. Small. It is small. It feels small. It almost gets into the zone on my long and large hands, where it's almost couldn't use it. Yeah, I really don't like those how that feels when you. It kind of has like a little bit of a grime. I think that's just gonna wear because it's new. But you know what almost stopped me from buying this was the oh, I could see like a very very small engraving there. What almost stopped me from buying this was that some reviewers were basically like, "Oh, you're not going to use this every day. You know, this isn't going to be your everyday pen." And I do intend to use it every day. I'll be honest here. I bought the All Sport Kaweco, and I normally never use pens that I'm going to sell, but I'm going to sell this. I bought this about a month ago, and it's been pretty beaten and pretty worn because I have used it so much. I've used it daily, and I'm selling it because I just bought this pen, the baby I've always wanted. And let's rub this off, see if we can get rid of that kind of sound or that feeling. I really wanted the baby. I wanted another Montblanc fountain pen. I'd sold my other ones. Um, and I wanted something I was going to bring to work with me, and this is it. Yeah, it's a lot better now. It was just that first working, but is there like a plastic on here? No, I don't think there is. But some of the older models, there was like a plastic around this. We'll do a writing sample in a second. I'm just going to give it a minute. Man, this uncapping it and capping it, like I know other reviewers have said this, but it is a very satisfying click. That is the best part of it. I do worry about the posting, and I've worried about that before I bought the pen. But it's funny, just because the cap goes over that, there's ways that you could fix this. Like you could throw an O-ring on here and fix it if you had to, you know, down the line. Like I'm not saying anything's wrong with this. So far, I have no reason to think that there's anything wrong with this. I have these weird discolorations on my hand. I swear it's nothing strange. It's just the lighting in here. It's really horrible. Wow, a bit of an old school kind of box, huh? And in here we have, this is more expensive than I care to say. But we have the case, and for me, I needed the case with the pen. It's a bit of Montblanc leather. It smells very good. Oh wow, that is so okay. That's probably why it was a little tight. Let's get this paper out of there. What are you guys doing? Wow, that is a tight fit. But this is the idea, is that I travel with this, the ink cartridges, and that is a ton of ink. So if the pen is full, I have 3 ink cartridges. So I have 1 in the pen and 2 kind of, ready on standby. And I'm going to throw this into my bag. And that's it. That's going to be my travel pen, but also my work pen. The Kaweco lives in my pocket. This probably won't, unfortunately, even though it's super tiny. This case, you know what you're paying for? You're paying for the custom. You're paying for how custom it is. I don't think the color really matches that well. Something I forgot to mention. This is like an orange, 100%. But without the two of them next to each other, you know what? The color actually does match a little bit better than I said. This pen is very orange. I wouldn't say it's red. I would say it is an orange, and almost in a good way. It kind of has a weird vintage kind of look to it. So, like I said, this is the Kaweco All Sport. This is a fine nib. I forget the spelling with an A or an E. Kaweco All Sport. A little bit of feedback, but I love this pen. I have used this pen a lot. I've filled it like 3 or 4 times. And I'll probably do the same thing with the baby. Wow. Okay, so we open it. It feels very solid. I know I keep saying that, but it's so true. Whoop, we've gotten it in there. Montblanc. Okay. First off, of course I'm a little nervous writing on camera, but secondly, as you can see in the video, I did not expect this pen to give me the writing smoothness or feel that it has. This thing is, I think, what fountain pen people look for. And it's a little bit it's a little strange because the ink should be more of a brown, not like a black or a gray. I don't know what is going on with the ink. This was like one of the only special inks they still had. It's like $2 more expensive than their normal cartridges. I think I understand why this ink is still for sale and not very popular. I probably should have went with like a standard color. But that being said, I will write through it. Wow, this thing is incredibly it is incredibly smooth. Again, I do not review pens. You guys will be lucky if I'm lucky if anyone is watching this. You guys are lucky that I've posted it. But when I was shopping for this pen, nobody has really reviewed the Coral. Nobody has talked about the case, and I'm sure people have talked about this ink. I don't know about the ink. It looks almost like black, but then with the more I write, there's kind of like gray hints that show up. It's so strange. I thought it was supposed to be like a brown. It is incredible how smooth this this pen is. You know what? I hate to say it. I'm gonna buy a different ink. That's why this ink is still for sale. Let's get this out of here. I'll keep one as a spare in case I run out of ink at work. I'm thinking about putting a clip on this and actually clipping it on my bag, but I also don't want to lose it. So it's probably going to get thrown in my bag like this. But with the pen in it, it doesn't feel as bad as putting this pen in my pocket. It also feels a bit more premium. And I also love having the extra ink with me. I'm sorry if this video is a bit of a tangent. I think I'm still going to release it, and I can always go back and do another one. But yeah, that's the baby, and wow, that clicking and unclicking just feels so good. It feels so good in the hands, and the case is pretty nice. It's a little tight, which I'm a little afraid when it's going to wear, actually, that it'll be a little too easy to take in and out. But as a package, this is so cool. Like when I'm traveling, this will be a very cool package. I know fountain pens can be a little iffy on planes sometimes, but I could easily see myself. I'm going to be bringing this to work daily. So it is already a very cool package. I like this a lot. I would actually buy Montblanc cases for any other Montblanc pens I buy in the future, but just as a set, this is very cool. I would actually be tempted to have a baby in black and the I got to get different ink. This ink, I don't know what's going on with this ink. But thank you for watching again. I'm very excited to have this, of course. I came close to buying it. I think it's a good purchase, especially with how smooth this baby wrote. Thanks again for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. Depending on what channel I post this, I sometimes, if it's on my personal channel, I'll answer questions like right away. But if I post this on like a channel I've used before, I won't probably answer any questions. So I might post this on my personal channel, so that way I'll actually answer if you guys have questions. Thank you so much for watching.